Welcome to Shiny New Clients, the marketing podcast that helps you attract shiny new clients to your business. We'll talk about social media, what makes people buy, how to go viral, and marketing psychology, all in 20 minutes or less. Whether you're a coach, a stylist, or a wedding planner, if you've got a service-based business to sell, this is the show you need to fill your calendar. I'm Jenna Warriner, your new marketing coach, and this is Shiny New Clients. How to make $500 with your first Tripwire, and what a Tripwire is, and why you want one. When I started out in business, of course I didn't know anything. But every now and then it shocks me that I've made it this far without knowing about something everybody else knows about, and that is Tripwires. I've been talking to an ads manager because we are considering moving toward ads in my business. We've built a massive business organically on Instagram, and that is what I teach my clients how to do. And now that we're thinking of ways to scale exponentially, we are exploring ads. And so I'm talking to this ads manager, and she was talking about adding a tripwire to a lead magnet. And I was like, what is that? So it's one of those things that everybody knew about. And once she explained it, I realized I had seen them everywhere, just never created my own. Another thing I didn't know about when I started my business, the expression, make hay while the sun shines. Of course, I'd heard that, and I understood it in principle. Like, okay, I understand, like, make hay while the sun shines. I know that means get while the getting's good, but I guess I had never thought about how you can literally only make hay in the sunshine. Like, that you have to lay the grass out or whatever you're drying in the sun to dry it out, so you can only make the hay when the sun shines. And so I experienced a season in my business that was wildly successful, and I feel like I kind of stomped on my own growth because I was scared. And in those few months when I had clients just banging down my door every time I opened my phone, I had new program members, and it was going wild, all from organic Instagram, by the way. And I stopped promoting myself, and I kind of fell back because I was scared, and I thought that that's the way it was always going to be, that things would always be moving at that pace. And then I learned business comes in waves, just like everything else. It comes in waves. It's not going to consistently feel like the chaos that it felt like in that moment. And so going back, I kind of wish that I would have made hay while the sun shines and leaned in a little bit, even though I felt scared. And then I realized what that saying meant. So I realized, oh, like that's what I was supposed to do with my business, but also you can literally only make straw in the heat. Back to tripwires. What a tripwire is when someone gets your freebie, which is also called a lead magnet or an opt-in, they put in their name and email in order to get something for free from you, some sort of resource, and then a page pops up that sells them something that's usually low ticket, and that's the tripwire. So you get your lead in the door by offering them something for free, then you give them the opportunity to buy something at a low cost. Typically, they're still going to get the free thing. They still got that free resource. But the idea is that person is very into you at that moment, right? They were into you enough to want this free resource. They were into you enough to trade their name and email, to like trade their valuable inbox space to get your free thing. So they're a hot lead, and it's a good time to offer them another small thing. And usually that small offer, the idea isn't that that's going to be the only offer they ever buy from you. That small offer is going to lead to bigger offers, one-on-one work, etc. When I tell you that I had thousands of people opting into my freebies before I knew that this existed, before I knew that I could be making revenue from those freebies, nobody told me until I sat down with this ads manager and she mentioned the word, and I was like, wait, I think I've heard that word before. And then also, I get invited to do bundles and summits and stuff like that all the time, which is when you collaborate with a bunch of other entrepreneurs and small business owners who have a similar audience, and you contribute a resource. That's either something that normally costs money that you're giving away for free, or it's something for free. And I got involved in this giant bundle, and I sent my normal stuff in, and then I started looking at everybody else who had sent stuff in, and they had these tripwires and upsells and like all these different ways to make money off their contribution. And I'm like, wait, everybody says these are for list growth. I thought this was just for list growth. I didn't know that we could be getting dollar signs off the back end of it. But yes, you can. Just another reason why it's so important to have multiple freebies to be giving away in your business so that when people ask you to do these bundles, you can give them away so that you always have something to post about without boring your audience because you've been giving them that one freebie over and over again. Get them in the door. Even if the people downloading your freebie are people who have already bought from you, but they maybe haven't bought the Tripwire, you can be nurturing that relationship, giving them something for free that is actually good and is going to help them. And then they see the Tripwire and they invest in the Tripwire. I created a freebie about tripwires. You can get it below this episode about how to set up your tripwire and a conversion tracker so that you can measure your way all the way to $500 in revenue based on conversion rates. I introduce you to some typical conversion rates and then also whatever your conversion rates are. If you're not a numbers person, dude, I am not either. I run my business on vibes. No, actually, my team makes me not run my business on vibes, but I would if it were just me. But the idea is you want the opt-in form to get your freebie. So the place where people put their name and their email in, you want that converting around like 50%. A little bit more than that would be great. A little bit less than that is okay. But let's aim for 50% of the people that come to that page want it. Then once those people opt in, you want, I think it's something like 5% of them are going to buy the Tripwire. And once you roll yours out and give it to 100 people, you're going to see what your conversion rates are. Once you know those rates, once you know how many people need to see it to opt in, how many people buy it once they opt in, like all that stuff, you follow this spreadsheet that I made you, and you know exactly how many people you need to show your opt-in page to in order to make $500. So that's in there, and I just tell you a little bit more about the setup and what you need to know about tripwires. Some other things I didn't know. These sound like humble brags. I tried to think of funny things that I didn't know, but I'm so focused on like freebies and tripwires and everything right now because Freebie in a Weekend is coming up where you'll create a freebie, launch it, do all the tech and promote it in 48 hours. It's a 2-day live event. And so that's coming up. So my brain is glued on freebies right now. So these are going to sound like humble brags, but I also did not know that most people are using ads to grow their email list. They're running ads to their freebie. They're one of the lowest cost ads that you can run, and that is how they're growing their email list because I have a large audience and I grow my list using organic Instagram, and that's always what I've done, and I have like post formulas that I will give you at Freebie in a Weekend that work very well for me. So that's how I do it. I didn't know most people weren't doing that. And I'm going to start doing that now. You bet your bottom dollar. If that's what everybody else is doing, I'm going to try that too. Now, in order to have a Tripwire, you need to have some sort of low ticket offer, meaning, you know what? It can be whatever price you want. Who cares? You could put $1,000 offer as your Tripwire. I don't know. Try it out. See what happens. That's the best thing about all of this is you can just play and see what works. You can pair different mini offers with different freebies and see which ones convert higher. When you use that tracker, it all comes down to the math. And that is one benefit of not running your business on vibes. If you're running it on something like conversions, you have a better idea of what's actually working and then you can double down on it. Maybe you test a bunch of freebies on your organic audience and then run ads to the ones that work best. Like we got options here. A lot of people have told me that they haven't launched any freebie because they're worried about it not having value or your audience not liking it. Not sure if it's going to be like good enough. And I have two things to say to that. One, you're not going to know until you put it out there. As they say, let the market speak for itself. Instead of just worrying and then not launching anything, launch the thing. Let's go. Let's see what they think. Maybe it won't be the most life-changing thing ever, but what if one person goes, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. And then after that, they see a couple emails from you and they're reaching out asking to book your highest ticket offer. How wonderful, right? All because you nurtured them with this free thing. Even if only 10 people signed up for it, it's worth it if it brings in that client, right? So one, it's worth it to put it out there just to see. But twosies, my method makes it so that you can whip up freebies so fast so that you can test them and eventually have multiple out there. I made my last one. I was testing my method and I was really pushing it, and I made it in about 4 hours. That's creating the material, deciding on the focus, setting up all the tech, creating a little mock-up for it, all of that. I did it in a Saturday afternoon. So at Freebie in a Weekend, I'm going to show you a repeatable formula that helps very quickly clarify what your freebie is about and makes it something that your audience is most likely to love. I've seen a lot of mistakes through Magic Marketing Machine when people show me their freebies and they're promoting them. I see the same mistakes again and again. So I'm going to help you avoid all of those. They're the thing that keeps nobody from downloading your resource. Overcomplicating them, making them too deep, making them be what people need instead of what they want, not focusing on the title, not having a clear result, all of these things. So we're going to deal with all of that when you come up with your topic, and then I'm going to show you how to make it quickly. And then once you've set up the tech, like you're not doing it in 4 hours, you're doing it in 2 days. Once you've done the tech, you can just duplicate the tech, like duplicate over and over again. Easy peasy. You set it up once and then it's very easy to use it again and again. I think we also just need to detach emotionally from all of this. If you were, worst case scenario, you put something up and only 5 people get it. 1, still 5 souls, still 5 humans, still worth it in my opinion. But even if that's the case, nobody's ever going to know how many people opted in. It's not that time is wasted. You could just need to change the title of your freebie. Title is a big thing that people don't put enough emphasis on. We're going to talk about title and topic at Freebie in a Weekend a lot because it's the key to everything. We can't take it personally when a post doesn't do well or when an email gets an unsubscribe. Nobody else means for you to take it personally, and you can't take it personally. One more thing on Tripwires. I say this in the freebie that you can say freebie one more time. I say this in the freebie that you can get below this episode, but all it is rerouting your thank you page. So when somebody opts into a lead magnet, a page pops up that says, thank you, check your inbox. And if you can't find us, it might be in spam. Usually that's what pops up. And the softwares that create them, pretty much every single one of them lets you reroute that thank you page. Instead of going to a thank you page, it goes to a sales page for your mini offer. You can duplicate that sales page, put a banner at the top that says, but wait, here's a limited time offer. Discount your thing or whatever, make them want it. You can duplicate that page, put a little memo at the top so that they know what they're seeing. And I give you an example of one of mine in the download, and boom, it's done. Somebody messaged me after they got my lead magnet on it, and she's like, Jenna, I set this up in under 10 minutes. So once you already have the pieces, like you already have a mini course, you already have a freebie, it takes 10 minutes to set up and it could make you $500. All right, I gotta go teach. Lovely to see you. If any of this sounded like something you want to set up or you think would be valuable for your business, hint, hint, it will be. Come to Freebie in a Weekend. Early bird tickets are on now, and everyone who gets a ticket will also get access to Freebie in a Weekend as a mini course. After the event, we're going to turn it into a course, and you're going to get access to that. The price goes way, way up on June 6th, 2025, so grab your ticket before then. And meantime, I'll see you in the next one.